Even after 20 years, my heart still races at that exact moment before that last card flips, and you know it's going to be the difference between winning and losing.
Because everything's bigger in Texas. Texas poker.
Obviously,
Texas poker.
Texas poker.
Texas poker, it's like
Texas poker.
Texas for sure.
You know, there's guys that are traveling here from Vegas, from Florida, from, you know, everywhere just to come here and play.
Most of the players here have not been exposed to normal Vegas poker, and they haven't been exposed to online play, so they really don't know the right way to play the game or the normal way to play the game. You know, a 1-2 game, a normal bring-in is going to be $6 to $10. Well, in Texas, it's 20, it's 30, and you get 3 or 4 callers.
I still think that we're in the early stages. That's one of the craziest things that Dave and I talk about every day. Membership. So, you know, we've been around 4.5 years. You would think that our membership would start to plateau, yet every day we're introducing 11 to 12 new members to our club.
You have other people who are newer to the game, a lot of people who want more action in Texas just generally, so for sure the games are way better here.
Texas is really great because we have a ton of guys with a lot of money that they just don't know what to do with it. So they're just blasted at the table, just give it away.
Texas poker is a lot, I guess,
Action-packed. Action-packed.
than anywhere else.
You know, it's great because, you know, when I opened this place, I knew 5 to 6 people in town. You know, I traveled for a living my entire life, so I really didn't have grassroots here. And now I've got thousands of friends, you know, and that's the biggest thing that I pull from it is just building relationships.
And that's the thing about card rooms in Texas. When we build these card rooms, we're not building it and adding a poker room so that we can get the 5 diamond. Instead of having 4 diamonds, we have 5, or all of a sudden we get a higher rating on our casino. We're building it for poker players by poker players, basically. And so that's one of the things I think is going to be a draw for more players is that Texas is like literally the card room operators are making it for you guys. We're trying to run events for you.
I want to hear what makes Texas poker so amazing.
Winning.
Our trip to Austin was a little rough. You know, in the GPS it says 90-minute drive, but they don't tell you about some of the traffic you run into. It was more like 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back. And we just never got it going.
I mean, how do you control the uncontrollable?
We got there in time to register the first tournament. I think Paul lasted maybe 90 minutes.
The first bullet was just what it is. You know, you're not getting card distribution, you're not getting any cards. Every time you open a pot, you miss the flop, you know, and then the blinds go up, and it's just that was that tournament. It was just, there was nothing there, nothing you can even aspire to accumulate.
I got out to a little bit of a good start. You know, we started with 20K in chips, and I spun it up to about 55K. And then, you know, as is with a lot of these multi-flight tournaments, the blinds go up pretty quick. I lost a big flip against pocket tens, and it left me really short. And then on like an 8 big blind stack, I flopped top pair on a queen 6-4 board and got my queen jack in against somebody else's queen jack, and they hit a 4-card flush on the river, and that was it for bullet 1. I went and got some barbecue and break, which is not the worst way to, you know, celebrate losing a tournament, and got back and was ready for the 5 p.m. flight.
It was pretty soft in the beginning, and then as the night went on, in the second bullet, they brought all their players as people were busting over. You know, we made it past the dinner break, and then we're heading towards the bag, and as it condenses, the players get better. You know, they're in their tournament for a reason.
And it was just a bizarre bullet. I had ace king 7 times in the first 2 hours, but only won 1 hand with it. And it was just like bricking flops, opponents donk leading into you for pot when you didn't hit an ace of king on the flop. Just really, really bizarre scenarios.
I had 100 big blind stacked pretty much the whole tournament. And then after the dinner break, I had about an hour run of no cards, and it started to quickly dwindle.
I looked down at aces. I opened them from middle position, button flats, small blind calls, and this same guy, 3-bet's huge. And I'm like, I'm gonna get this guy now. And so I 4-bet for like 2/3 of my stack. He just calls me, which I thought was kind of weird. Flop comes 9-7-5. We're obviously pot committed. I jam, he calls, he just flips over pocket nines, you know.
I thought I was going to cruise into the bag in that tournament, but then again, you look down at pocket aces, and you're going to end up getting it all in. And unfortunately, variance is variance. And if I win that pot, it's a totally different. Now I'm cruising possibly to really deep.
So Sunday night had been an up and down night. Seemed like we would lose a big pot, be down a couple hundred, grind our way back to even, lose a big pot, be down a couple hundred, grind back to even. It was just one of those nights where you just wouldn't connect. There'd be an open to $25, a couple callers, you'd squeeze with ace king, you'd completely whiff the flop, and there'd be 4 people to the flop, and there's nothing you could do at that point. And so you're just kind of patiently waiting for that one big spot that is going to turn your night around. And so about 1:30 at night, we get moved to table 2 at the very front of the room because tables are breaking and condensing. It's late at night on a Sunday. And this new table had some very fun players at it, but there was one player in particular, the 9 seat, who was just really, really, really aggressive.
Pre-flop, post-flop, I would say he was an average player, but just aggressive.
And so it got to his button, and he limped the straddle. And there were 3 limpers in front of me as it comes to me in the low jack, and I looked down at pocket aces. And I do something that I've never done before. I over limp. So I set the trap. Sure enough, it gets to him on the button. He raises to $50.
He's last to act, so he wants to thin the field. He'll make a big overbet with probably any 2 cards.
I thought about maybe just cold calling and then just letting him barrel off, but honestly, I felt like he was capable of maybe stacking off with some weaker pocket pairs, and we were also out of position. So I just felt like it was going to be best to, get it in and win our equity versus like getting some weird flop checking and then him checking back. I decide to raise to 200 and I slide 2 red stacks over the line.
If I had to bet lunch or a good dinner, he's got a monster there.
At this point, I kind of thought he was either going to jam or fold, and he looked frustrated. I think he was enjoying running the table over, didn't like getting his hand caught in the cookie jar, and he decides to make the call, which was really weird to me. Flop comes 10-7-7, 2 diamonds, and before I can do anything, he shoves all in out of turn.
Yeah, he beat Rob in the pot when Rob never even got to check or bet or do anything.
And I realized at this point that we're about to play for a $1,300 pot because I'm not folding my aces. I have the ace of diamonds in my hand, so I have a backdoor flush draw. If he's got pocket 10s or quad 7s, well then nice work, buddy. There's nothing I can do about that, but he can have kings, he can have queens, he can have jacks. He could be overplaying ace king and bluffing. He could have some weak diamond draws. So I make the call. He does flip over king of diamonds, jack of diamonds for the flush draw.
I didn't think the guy would be on king jack of diamonds myself. I thought he was either going to be weaker or stronger.
And bam, right there on the turn, the 3rd diamond.
Rob's not happy.
Your heart sinks in that moment because you know your opponent made a unprofitable play and you outplayed him, but here you are sitting on the turn and now you're praying for another diamond or a 7 or an ace for a full house.
The card distribution to run out, a diamond comes, and now I'm like, oh boy, he better pray for a diamond or a full house.
And the river comes a brick, and all of a sudden, I'm watching $1,300 in chips go to the other side of the table, and I'm stuck $750 on the day, and my last 3.5, 4 days of grinding have just been wiped out.
I mean, it's just, how is he going to do handling coolers in San Antonio, Texas? Because they're not folding. They're not folding drawers, they're not folding back doors, they're not folding gutters, they're not folding. So even if you had $1,000 and shoved it, he's calling with 2 diamonds and a king.
And so I had a choice in that moment. I could either walk away, call it what it is, bad session, lost 750, get on the horse again tomorrow, or I can look at the table and decide, is this a profitable table? And this is the point that I've gotten to before where I struggle, and I decided to push through. And so I had $300 left in my pocket. I only brought, a little over $1,000 to the card room that day. I bought in for my 300 and I went to work.
I mean, he plays like a professional. I mean, that's what professionals do. The guy's a professional poker player. So they don't get rattled. They don't get, they know variance. They know what they're doing. So, I mean, he just stayed comfortable, confident, and picked out spots and slowly built it back up.
Over the next 2 hours, I was able to win back 500 of that 750 and walk out of that card room only down a manageable 250 for the day. And the very next day, I sat down, and the second hand of my session, I flopped a set and had somebody stack off and won back the rest of that 250 I lost. So in less than 24 hours, I completely overcame, losing that big pot and was right back in the game for the week.
We are going to have a blast playing the tag team. Obviously, we're going to win all the monies, but even if we don't, we're going to have fun.
Look, I will agree with Sean on this one, Sean Deeb, that you are pretty much my only hope at a bracelet this year.
I disagree. I'm
sorry.
I disagree strongly. I think you have an edge in the ladies' event.
Here's what I'm going to say. I will recommend we got to check out our table. If there are some big ass pros, you're at that table. I'm going to go to the table. When we switch, I'm going to be with the partners where everyone's doing shots and everyone's fucking dancing. And you're like, oh my God, I left with 100 big blinds. What did you do? I'm like, I don't know. I had a great time.
I mean, that's going to be the plan, right? It's even if we do end up having not an ideal table, let's make it the fun table. Our job is to make it the fun table. We're going to aim high and achieve higher. That's what we're doing. I'm all about aiming high and achieving higher these last few months.
So talk to me about you and me and Aria Poker.
Well, I am really excited. You mentioned this, and Sean McCormick over at Aria is hooking us up. We're going to do a meetup game, obviously. Lots of details still to work out, so no official announcement.
Let's see the poster. Come on. Let's prematurely see the poster. It may change, but Sean McCormick's going to hook us up. Sean McCormick hooks everyone up.
So we have 2 options, both of which are Veronica-centric, because we've decided we needed either a thirsty Veronica or a professional Veronica.
And we went with thirsty. I said thirsty.
Okay, well, we're going to go with thirsty. So we're going to go with the left.
When are you getting to Vegas?
I'll be there on the 27th of May.
Of May?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll text you when I will probably be driving all day, and then I'm going to chill my first night there. But then the next day we should get together.
Paul definitely had a rough week. It seemed like he was getting the bad side of cooler after cooler after cooler.
Last night was absolutely brutal. I mean, buy in $500 to a 1-2 game and just get slowly blinded down and open a button, fold, no, nothing. Went through $500 that way.
he was targeting weaker opponents, as he should be, and they just kept out-flopping him. Sometimes with hands that they should just never have in the first place.
And played a couple hands, didn't win, and had to reload again. So now you're in for 1,000, and you haven't even really done anything.
He also just got into some tough spots where, he had third or fourth best hands and, ran into the nuts and couldn't get away from it.
Got in a couple big pots, lost. And next thing you know, you're down 2,500 for the night.
Paul gets involved in this hand. He opens from middle position to $30, which was a bit of a chunky open. I think that he realized the table was playing bigger and he kind of wanted to match what they were doing.
Button raises to 100. Comes back to me. I'm trying to think of the type of player he is. What is he doing with it? This with? Hopefully he could be doing with ace king, ace queen. So
at this point, they're probably deep enough that I think Paul can still defend a lot here. And I know Paul was not going to let this guy run him over.
I look down at my tens again. There's no way I'm folding tens here. He's a pretty aggressive player. He could be pretty wide. I make the call at 100.
So Paul makes a call. Flop comes 10 high. Paul checks.
So I flop top set. Really excited about that. Button's really aggressive, so I'm going to take the line of checking. So I check, and he bets 150.
And Paul makes the call. Now at this point, I know he's got something. And Paul's not floating him here with ace high. He's not putting $150 in the pot with pocket threes. He's got a piece of this, and it's just a matter of how much of a piece he has.
Turn comes a brick, and I really contemplating on, checking again. But I wasn't really sure in this spot, and this is where those spots to me is kind of, I'd like to run them through sims and things, but I literally jammed here because I knew he would call with any overpair. So if there's tens, I have tens. If he has jacks, queens, kings, aces, he's not folding those hands.
When the opponent makes a call, now I'm going, oh crap, this is, a $1,400, $1,500 pot. What's gonna happen?
And then of course, river is a king. So we're all in, I flip over my set of tens, and of course, what does he have? Set of kings. So I lose a massive pot, set of tens over a set of kings.
You look at what people say good win rates are for a 1-2 or a 1-2-5 game, and then you inevitably get to a series of sessions where you can't miss, and you just start printing money and winning huge pots and building huge stacks. And you look at those win rates and you go, man, those seem low. Like, these games are so soft, and you're winning day after day. Like, why do people say you can only make this much per hour at a 1-2 game? And then you have one of those sessions where everything goes wrong and you go, oh, that's why.
To your confidence level. After this week, it's not great. I feel I made a couple mistakes in some key spots, but nothing for the punishment I took. We were playing with some good players, but most of them were not that good. So, you sit at a table with people that are just piles of chips in front of them, and they're not any good, and they just want to give you your chips, but you get 7-2, 9-3, 6-10, Queen 2, King 2. So it's like for 4 hours I sat there one night and just watched chips go flying around the table, and none of them coming to me because I just couldn't defend anything. There was nothing to be, no playable hands.
One thing I know about Paul is he is not a quitter, and he doubles down. When things don't go the way that he expects them to, or he has to take an L, he just finds ways to work harder. He finds ways to make adjustments. He's a guy that just battles. And so I really think that we're going to see him shine these next few weeks. In fact, maybe these live streams, it really flips a switch and he just does what he's capable of doing and dominates these guys. He's got experience playing with some of these elite guys. He's played with them before at Rounders. He's played with them on live streams. So, I think that Paul's going to rebound pretty quickly from everything he's gone through.
I'm not used to that. I'm not used to being upset about losing. But when you're on a fixed income budget, bankroll, that's a big hit. So knowing that we have a live stream game coming up, 2 of them next week, and bankroll's taking a kind of a hit. So now it's time to refocus, play goods, play solid, and hope that variance goes the other way. Eventually it's going to go the other way. So hopefully it's just my time of the bad beats are out, and then everything's going to be, the deck's going to hit me this time, and we're going to make good decisions and be off to the races.
I really have run pretty bad this week. I haven't had a lot of good card distribution. I've had a lot of the good hands that I have had, not holds. I feel very fortunate to be up on the week. But now we're heading into the new week, and it's live stream week. And we've got 2 very challenging live streams coming up, one at Rounders, one at Texas Card House in Dallas.
Which is going to play 1-3-500 because the people they invited to play are really, really good, splashy. They play much bigger than 1-3. So them playing 1-3 is like just a side game.
From a competitive perspective, it's an incredibly exciting opportunity to get to play some really elite players and bring your A+ game and see what you can do. From a bankroll perspective, it's terrifying.
You know, they're going to be splashy. They're going to be putting you to the test because their bankroll is, $20,000 for a 1-3 game.
That's the thing about poker in Texas is obviously the action is great and you can make a lot of money down here if you know what you're doing. But not only is the winning pots and the winning sessions bigger, the downswings are bigger too.
And this what he said, you gotta get paid, do what you gotta do, get to the bag, stay at your 9 to 5, get on the avenue, you ain't cut out for them tags, you are not good enough, you are the type of got people that shouldn't love anyone knowing you know that you phony, you never cut out for this, you should just give it up, but that's how they want me to feel, I am the man of the skill, king of the hill, man of the year, finally feel like I got it for real, but all of them voices we got them, lie to me, Hillary Rodham, I just came back from my kid in the bottom, and now I'm gonna bring it back all the way on them, One time, I'm going for mine, you put it on